Hi everyone, this is Michelle. Welcome back to my channel. I am playing in my artist size journal from Art by Marlene, and I desperately wanted to make a little feather wreath kind of thing. So I've grabbed out some feathers from the new release Paper Elements book from Marlene, and what I did beforehand is I snipped the edges of the feathers to make them look a little less blocky, I guess, and just make them look a little bit more like a feather shape. I hope that makes sense. So I started out making a half circle on my page. I did kind of audition these feathers beforehand, and I decided that doing a full circle wasn't going to work. So I decided to do a half circle, and I'm just watering down my paints. I've kind of color matched them to the feathers that are there, except I didn't use red, I used pink, fuchsia, that there is lavender, and I'm just watering them down and trying to get a bit of a watercolory effect. I don't think it worked, but it doesn't matter because I know that the feathers are going to sit on top of this. This is just to get a little bit of color down. And then I'm drying before I go on to the next layer, which I think will be the mermaid color and azure. And I'm just doing patches here and there to try and blend them out and make it look not like it belongs, just look, I'm just trying to get it to look good. I guess. I've done some splatters, and as I'm drying, I'm mopping up a little bit of the excess with my baby wipe over there. And at this stage, I'm not too concerned about what it's going to look like because the feathers are going to sit on top of that. Then I'm going in with some mark making, and I'm just where the pink is, I'm extending the pink. Where the purple is, I'm extending the purple, and the same with that blue color. Just trying to make that blob make sense on the page, I guess. And I'm not sure if I go in with splatters as well. I think I'm just blending those colors out using my mark making. And then I'm giving everything a little bit of a dry. And now I'm going to pop those feathers back on just to see if this is going to work. And I immediately felt that those feathers just fall into the background and they just blend in and they don't stand up against that background. So I shuffle them about here and there, layering them, trying to make them work, and then I decided it's not working. I think I need to lighten that background a bit. So I'm going to go in with a stencil. Oh, I also had these die cut shapes from Marlene's new little thank you tag set that she's got, and I used these mandala shapes. I took out a few of them. They're all black, and I thought that that would make a nice contrast. So I'm going in with the hexagon star stencil, and I'm going to go in with my white paint. I am using the Amsterdam acrylic one because I wanted this to be really bright white to really knock back those colors a bit. And then I'm also going to go in with the Lots of Dots stencil in black, and also again just in 3 or 4 sections, I'm not sure. Going in and just doing some random stenciling through there. I wanted a little bit more of a grungy feel with the bright colors for this page, so that's why I'm doing the black stenciling. if you're trying to do this and you don't want to go harsh with black, I think probably using a blue or even the azure would look really nice as well. And then I'm finishing off with some splatters using my fan brush. I've just watered down some of Marlene's pitch paint and I'm doing splatters all over the show. Then I'm going back in with those feathers, and still I felt like this is not working. So there was a minute in my head where I thought, okay, maybe I must just stick it down and work with what I've got. But I was not sure, and you can see me tapping my fingers, and I'm taking it all off. And then I grabbed my beautiful bright flowers that I made in one of my previous videos using Marlene's layered flower stamp. And the minute I put that on, I decided, yes, I need the flowers. Scrap the idea of the feathers. I'm going to use the flowers. But I am going to stick some of the feathers in there just to still use the feathers, because I really wanted to use the feathers. And I'd gone through all the effort of cutting those edges and making them a little bit more refined. So I figured I'll use them anyway. And I'm popping my little black elements back in there. And once I've got the placement the way that I wanted it, I am going to start gluing down my elements. So I'm trying to not move the elements too much. So I'm just kind of lifting them and gluing them sort of where they are, because I really like the composition the way that it is now. So just doing a little dot of glue in the center of those flowers. I can still tuck things underneath them, and my glue stays wet for a little while, so I can still move things around if I'm not 100% happy with it. I really like how these mandala shapes just added a little something extra, just a little something interesting. Okay, the feathers were still blending in too much for me, so I'm just going in with a little bit of black, and later on I'll go in with a little bit of white, just to try and bring them out a bit, and also try and match them up with those flowers, because obviously all of my flowers have the black outline, so I wanted to do a little black on the feathers as well to make them look like they belong there. And then I decided I will use a little bit of punk paint to make the first layer of shadowing. So punk is Marlene's neon purple paint, and this color really works well with blue and pink pages. It just pulls the colors together and just makes everything look like they belong together, I guess. And then I'm doing the same thing with the black. And I know it seems a little bit redundant to do both colors in the shadow, but you can still see that punk there as a layer and then the black as a layer on top. When I did the black, I decided I would like to make some drips down. So I'm really watering it down quite a bit, and then I'm putting drips down, and I'm shaking my page, just banging it on the desk to try and get those drips moving, and I'm also darkening them up a little bit. I am drying them as I go because I wanted to control them somewhat, even though they are drips and they can't really be controlled, but I am trying to control them a little bit. So before I move on to the top ones, I'm just giving those a quick dry so that the bottom ones are dry, just so they don't move too much. And I'm repeating the process up at the top there. And I really like the drips. It's just, again, one of those things that adds a little bit of interest, just something extra to the page that you kind of wouldn't expect there. Okay, and endless amounts of drying happening there. And when I'm done, I decided to put out a little bit more of that punk paint and just add a touch of it onto the feathers. And this, I think, was what helped the feathers pop out a little bit more. And also, it kind of tied them to the page because I had used that punk paint in the background. And obviously my flowers are quite neon. I didn't have that neon element on the feathers as well. And as soon as I put that on, I think it worked a little bit better for me. And I'm just going in and doing some highlights as well. And now a quote. And I think I chose one that said, "Only look back to see what you have achieved." And I thought that that quote was appropriate because I had an idea. It didn't work, but I'm not going to dwell on that. I'm going to be happy with what I did end up with, and I'm not going to look back at the oopsie, I guess, or the failed attempt. I guess I could rather state it as a failed attempt. But in the end, I did create something that I really liked. So I'm quite happy with that. I'm putting my quote down, and then before I stick them down by pushing them down properly, I'm just going to adjust those letters or those words again, make sure that they are where I want them to be. And I do go around them also with just a thin black gel pen because I do like that scribbly line around it. And again, it just ties it all together. The page is quite grungy. The feathers, the feathers have those scribbly lines, and the flowers, and the quote as well. Now I'm taking the gibberish stamp and I'm just stamping here and there in those shadowy bits, just for a little extra darkness and interest. And that's it for my page. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed the process, and I hope I was able to show you how anything can be fixed, and there's always a plan. There's always a way to make things work. Please like and subscribe if you have not done so, and I will chat to you again very soon. Bye.